Three different nations have won races here at Durban in the past. In the first season it was France and the Netherlands. Last year it was Germany. And John, there a layout of the circuit. Of course, various key points that you pointed out in your track analysis, but that first corner always causes problems.
Yes, I mean, a street track, a very tight turn, the Vodacom corner, always there to catch the on-wear in. Even if you're being careful, you never know who might slam into you. It's a very good street track because it's not the normal, what I would describe as matrix circuit, where you've got sharp right, sharp left. You've got some real corners here in Durban, very testing corners, and principally test your courage, particularly through Suncoast Boulevard. That's a massive corner.
Well, there's tremendous support as well, which is wonderful to see all around this circuit. But as we came in towards qualifying here, when we were building up to the vital sessions, there was a lot to look forward to. New drivers in the shape of Philip Albuquerque for Portugal, Joseph Král for the Czech Republic. Let's take a look at what happened in qualifying.
Temperatures soared into the mid-30s as qualifying got underway in Durban. Ireland's woes started early on with Adam Carroll pulling aside with a fuel pump problem, but it also proved tricky for New Zealand. Johnny Reid losing control, which saw the session red flagged despite most teams not setting a time. The last session for the sprint race grid saw most cars out early. A great run by Robbie Wicken saw him take Canada's first ever pole position, with Brazil and Bruno Junqueira in second. Early spinner Johnny Reid took third.
When I came across 18.1 and I knew the previous best, so it was like an 18.5 or something, I was ecstatic, you know. Yeah, I'm really excited to start on the front row for the first time.
The feature race qualifying got off to a frustrating start for local hero Adrian Zaug. He was held up by the Black Beauty. Great Britain and Ollie Jarvis took an early P1, but could he hold on to it? Well, not when Neil Yanni took to the track, he couldn't. A storming lap from the Swiss saw them take provisional pole. Another red flag came out after Ireland's Adam Carroll got more than he bargained for, running too close to the uncompromising walls. Another great run saw Neil Yanni consolidate his pole position. Canada got another front row start and New Zealand took third.
In the past I had very good qualifyings but never a good race, so let's hope today it works well.
And they're pretty much in the middle of the shot, the Suncoast Casino, around which this street track dives and turns, particularly that long left-hander past that particular building, a very challenging section, and it's great to see a fantastic turnout from the crowd once again.
Well, look, they've got a perfect day, and people still making their way into the grandstands. Of course, the sun absolutely scorching hot, and people waiting to get in until the last minute. They're still making their way around the various viewing spots around this circuit. Lots of opportunities to see a lot of either high-speed motoring or through there the complex, the Ericsson complex, and that's also an area of the racetrack where we've seen a lot of activity, driver errors particularly, entering and leaving.
Well, when we arrived this morning, we were looking forward, of course, to the start of the sprint race. John, there was one quick story. Narain Karthikeyan wasn't able to take the start of the sprint race and will be replaced by Parthivat Sureshwaran.
Yes, he hurt his hand, he hurt his wrists, and the doctors advised him, in his own interest of speedy recovery, stay out of the car.
So no Narain. That meant the rookie driver would take over and he would start from the back. Let's see what happened. It's an absolutely stunning morning here in Durban as we prepare for the sprint race. Cars are already on the grid, and South Africa, host nation, with a lot of work to do. Adrian Zaug lines up in 20th spot. A little further up, there's Oliver Jarvis for Team GBR. He starts in 4th place, second row for him with New Zealand. And then on the front row, Team Brazil's Bruno Junqueira. An excellent effort in qualifying to go that quick, but it's Canada that have taken their first ever pole position, and Rob Wickens is the youngest ever pole sitter in A1GP. So let's take a more detailed look at how they line up. Canada and Brazil together on the front row, New Zealand and Great Britain right behind, Johnny Reid and Oliver Jarvis. But watch out from row number 3, because the Swiss car is in there, only 3 points behind New Zealand and France at the moment. Neil Yanni alongside Team Germany, then it's the Netherlands and Malaysia on row 4, Portugal and China on row number 5, and on row 6 Australia and Mexico. USA and Pakistan line up next. They're followed by Italy and France. Long way down for Loic Duval. Czech Republic and Lebanon next up, followed by Indonesia and South Africa. And at the back, it's Ireland and India. It's Rob Wickens on pole position, the youngest ever pole sitter, up against Bruno Junqueira, the oldest driver on the grid today. Is it going to be youthful enthusiasm, or is it going to be experience that wins the day here? We're about to find out. We've got New Zealand and Great Britain behind. Lights go out, away we go, and we're racing in Durban. Great start from Team Canada, and a battle going on for third place, with Great Britain trying to go around the outside. Great Britain going around the outside, trying to take second. New Zealand hits Canada. New Zealand hits Great Britain. More contact behind as well. Brazil drops out.
And Malaysia, and there was contact. New Zealand shoveled the nose of their car under the rear wing of Canada, and literally had the rear wheels of the Canada car off the ground. There, Johnny Reid, he's made contact. He tried to be brave, and it's paid him dearly.
Czech Republic and Lebanon have been left at the first corner of the Vodacom hairpin, but the rest are up through Ericsson now. And what a good start it was by Team Canada's Rob Wickens. Great Britain into second. Switzerland have gained third ahead of Brazil. And China have come up to fourth. Where did they cut? Fifth, I think, up to fifth. They started in 11th place.
Well, we'll get a replay of that start into turn one. You will see that the Brazil car and others were almost virtually at a standstill. Others managed to filter their way around, including Switzerland and GBR, who were in the mix, kept out of trouble.
Well, Canada have certainly made the break on this. Oliver Jarvis trying to chase for Great Britain. Switzerland have gained out of all this. Their big rival, New Zealand, in big trouble on this opening lap. And as we know, France is well down the order as well. So there is the Black Beauty without a front wing. And poor Johnny Reid, it's gone wrong for him. His first ever street race. And he did seem to run into the back.
Oh, he made the mistake, no question about it. The Canada car was slowing down. Johnny Reid got a great start. He was wheel to wheel with Great Britain going into turn one. He was tight on the inside. He really couldn't get the speed off to not hit the back of the Canada car. He lifted the Canada car's rear wheels off the ground, but managed to shovel the car through the corner. Canada, I believe, are on damage, and they've got a 2.2 second advantage over Great Britain in second place.
Switzerland third, then Brazil in fourth place, China fifth, the Netherlands in sixth, Germany seventh, Australia. Oh, and there is that bit of damage to the front.
It is the front wing. The Brazil wing is also damaged. You can see it bobbling around. Whoa, almost out of control, going through the exit of the Ericsson complex.
Oh, Junqueira's going to be in trouble now. Now, did he run into the back of the Swiss car here? Yeah, that's why.
He did. And I thought he had contact also in the first lap. But that Bruno Junqueira, from a street track expert. Oh dear.
Well, now it's going to be China to try and get past him. And I tell you what, it's not going to be easy on a street track. Meanwhile, New Zealand into the pits, trying to get a new nose cone on the car. They rehearse this manoeuvre often, and it's quick. But of course, he's going to be right at the back. Nobody else should be stopping in this race. It's only a sprint race. There are no pit stops. That's going to hurt New Zealand hugely.
Let's look again. Here's the start. Now look at the black car on the left of the screen. Bumps into the back of Canada. Bumps, and again, 3 times contact with Great Britain as well, and Brazil, and that's where the Swiss, they escaped all that. Malaysia clobbers the wall on the inside, and the Czech Republic and Lebanon here again on board. A great run down the outside from Oliver Jarvis. Tries to close it out, but you can't see the contact that's going on with New Zealand. That's just over on the right-hand side of the track, but there was contact with Great Britain and New Zealand as well.
Yeah, a lot of correction there from Jarvis as he had to gather it together. Could be a question of a puncture on the British car.
And New Zealand is on the track just ahead of the race leader, Canada.
Oh, that's going to not be popular for Rob Wickens. Great Britain really hit the curve hard there. Oliver Jarvis gathered it together, and Brazil still managing to stay in front of China.
Well, that nose cone is, and the wing and the mountings of the wing are really moving around. They'll have to be very careful that if that does detach, it will cause big moments for Brazil.
Watch France. He managed to get past Pakistan last lap around. Loic Duval trying to get into the points as he told us on the grid. Can he try and move up a little further and get past USA?
Jonathan Somerton's going to be a bigger problem as Brazil are waiting for Bruno Junqueira if he chooses to come in. The brand new nose is ready.
Well, everybody trying to make up places with only 13 laps to go. It's Jonathan Somerton for Team USA now under pressure from Loic Duval of Team France. China, meanwhile, will want to try and keep the pressure on Brazil. Brazil staying out there for the moment, which is probably the right thing to do.
Yeah, the wing is actually getting worse. You can see it drooping down more on the left-hand side as each lap goes by. We've got 12 laps to go. There you see the wing now almost touching the ground. And that means I think he's going to come in. He's got to come in at the end.
Oh, behind. Germany making a move on Netherlands, sliding and almost, I don't know if they actually touched. They may have done.
I think there was a touch because you saw the Netherlands car just having to put on lock. But Michael Ammermuller, doesn't appear to be any damage to the nose. It might have been a wheel to wheel rather than the bodywork to the wheel.
Well, it's tight between those two. Jeroen Bleekemolen versus Michael Ammermuller. A bit of more debris. There's bits and pieces of car all over the place here at the moment, but that's no great surprise. It's still Canada leading, from Great Britain in second, Switzerland third, then Brazil still fending off China, then behind them the Netherlands and Germany, with Australia's John Martin, who's poorly, remember. He's running well in the background there in 8th place. Portugal, Philippe Albuquerque, on his debut in A1GP, also running competitively, and Mexico's in the top 10 as well. David Garza had a good first lap.
So Michael Ammermuller had that attempt down the inside into turn 1, the Vodacom corner, but couldn't get it, couldn't make it stick. So the rest of the field really filing through very much, and France, as I anticipated, getting logjam now behind USA, who have got their sights set on Malaysia, who have also got their sights set on Mexico. Ireland further back, Ireland running in 16th place. They've made up ground, but in reality, Ireland, like everybody else, not enough time or space to make any real moves on the car ahead of you.
And right behind his host nation, South Africa, there is Adrian Zaug then, and he's currently running in 17th position. It's tough to move up from there, especially when he's racing against someone of Adam Carroll's abilities for Team Ireland. France got very close to the back of the United States car there, had to sort of correct his line into the corner. South Africa still tucked in behind the bright green Irish car, can't find a way through as yet, and it is tough. You've got to push for the mistake, push for the error. China is past Brazil. China has gained a place. They're into 4th position now, so that to nose that damage to the front wing has affected Bruno Junqueira.
I'm not surprised. When driving a car with the wing moving up and down like that, you're losing a lot of the front end grip. And also what you're concerned about is if that does break away, it's only being held by one of the two mounting points. If that breaks away there, you can see it's now going to get caught under the front wheel. He's got to get out of it. He's got to give himself the opportunity to get back to the pit safety, but also not compromise Netherlands and Germany.
Here comes Australia about to pass him as well. Hopefully he's going to maintain his line. Portugal going to try and nip up the inside too. Philippe Albuquerque goes through. Junqueira being sensible here. He's just got to try and get it back to the pits, as you say. He can't afford to get himself tangled up with too many other cars, although he won't want to lose too much time. He's moved to the inside, and Mexico and the others are able to pass.
Well, that was a moment which I anticipated, because when the wing loses one of those two mountings, it's inevitable it's going to lose the other one. And if that wing ever tucked under the car, that would have been a serious situation for Bruno Junqueira.
Wow, what a great shame after that front row starting position, and they really looked like they would be on for a podium finish. Now let's take a look at that front wing once again.
And this is where it just about, you can see the smoke now coming off. That's the wing, the tail of the wing catching on the tower. And if that wing then was to go under the front of the car, he would have lose steering, lose braking, and it would just be a passenger.
So they've got to get that changed quickly as possible. What it has allowed is everyone to move up one. China now are in 4th place. That's a great effort, considering they were 11th in qualifying, moved up to 10th with India being pushed to the back, but nonetheless an excellent effort. Now look, Switzerland pretty close to Great Britain. That's the race for 2nd position. Oliver Jarvis versus Neil Yarni. Yarni looking for the points here, most notably, but a great run out of turn 9, and that car's looking good for Team Switzerland.
And you sense there's a slight bit of defensiveness coming.
I think
and
that's
alongside
problem.
was a content of something happened to Oliver Jarvis. He certainly lost pace through turn 10.
Yeah, and I wonder, you know, if it might be as a result of that contact he had with New Zealand right at the start. That car doesn't look quite right to me there. Looks better there. Maybe
there's some parts of the circuit, it was certainly very slow through turn 9 and into turn 10. There we see New Zealand, the cause of the problem, still running ahead of New Zealand, but not in the race. Jarvis going defensive.
Remember, it was his right rear that got hit, so he might be all right through right-handers. I wonder if the car's a bit of a handful. Let's watch him through this next corner. It might be a bit tricky through left-handers, possibly.
It was the two right-handers that were at the end of the straight where the car was slow,
yeah.
So it's affecting the car going right rather than going left.
Yeah, good point. Well, Neil Yarni's trying to make the most of it if he can, and I definitely think Jarvis is struggling with a car that is not responding the way he wants it to. Up front, it's Canada leading, although New Zealand have stayed ahead. They stayed just about on the lead lap.
Yeah, it's going to be out of this corner. Another right-hander onto the quickest part of the track. If he's got a problem in the right-hand corner, it may offer an advantage. But look, the gap once again is pulled away, so Jarvis is able to breathe a little bit more comfortably as they come down once again to turn 9.
Big pressure though this for Jarvis from Team Switzerland, and Neil Yarni desperate for points here. He wants to reclaim the lead in the points, and he can do that here in this race because New Zealand have had a pit stop. They might be running ahead on the road, but they're almost a lap down, and France are out of the points at the moment. Switzerland have a huge opportunity here to retake the lead in the title battle, a lead that they enjoyed before we went to the races in New Zealand and Australia. But he won't want to do anything stupid and lose any chance of scoring points. And on that last lap, actually, Jarvis has just been able to open up the advantage slightly.
Yeah, we don't know why. It just suddenly appeared that Team GBR lost pace 1 lap ago through turns 9 and 10. They've now recovered, and let's look at Adrian Zaga. Team South Africa dives past Ireland, well, tries to get alongside with Italy just ahead, makes a good clean pass. Well done, Adrian Zaga. South Africa's proud of you. That's a good move. He had to actually, and in fact, Adam Carroll from Ireland gave him the space. He didn't make it too hard for Adrian Zaga.
No, well, that was sensible. Zaug had a good run going there, and he's gained 1 position. He's up to 15th, but he's still outside the points. Netherlands versus Germany, that continues for 5th position, with China still sitting up there in 4th place. There's Michael Ammermuller keeping the pressure on Jeroen Bleekemolen. There's been nothing between these two neighbouring countries. France we ride with now, and Team France still stuck behind the United States, has not been able to find a way past.
Well, again, you know, Jonathan Somerton is very, very competitive. He may not have a quickest car in an overall lap, but he knows how to make his car difficult to overtake. And the momentum that France built up to get to the tail of the USA has all gone, and he now is running at the pace of the USA and really hasn't been able to do much about it.
Watch South Africa as well, because he's closed up to the back of the blue Italian car now. Relatively inexperienced Edoardo Piscopo driving for Team Italy, and Adrian Zaug may fancy his opportunity coming up in a lap or two. Mike Carroll, team director there for Team South Africa. Well, he's watching this one very closely. They're desperate to move up the order if possible, and Zaug is giving his all here. He drives with his heart, and he's putting everything into this one. He's got past Team Ireland. Now, can he get past Team Italy? He's not close enough at the moment to mount a challenge. He's going to have to be a bit nearer than that.
All he can do is try to put his car into the mirrors of Team Italy and just simply intimidate the young Italian driver. Not this lap into turn 1 into Vodacom corner, but maybe 1 lap later. And this is the battle going on at the tail between Lebanon and the Czech Republic. In fact, it's for 18th and 19th place. Brazil and New Zealand, 21st and 22nd.
Yeah, these two having a nice little dice. Khalil Bashir versus the new boy, Joseph Kral, who's making his debut in A1GP. And Khalil will be determined to try and keep him behind. So that could be quite a fun one. Ahead of them, actually, Parthiva Sureshwaran has managed to get ahead of those two. So the stand-in driver for Team India, normally their rookie, had to take over at short notice for today when Narain Karthikeyan's injuries from the accident he suffered in practice prevented him from racing. Well, he's a little further up the road for Team India. But there is our race leader. It is Rob Wickens. What a beautiful drive this is at the moment. And there's the race going on for second.
Yeah, the gap was 4.9 seconds 1 lap ago. Comes across start finish line, it's going to be over 5 seconds, 5.3 seconds the gap. So it's increasing bit by bit. Rob Wickens isn't going any quicker. It's just that those behind aren't maintaining the pace.
Interestingly, it's New Zealand that has the fastest lap. The car that had been into the pits got a new front wing and went back out just ahead of Canada, and it's Johnny Reid.
And that's 1 point.
That is 1 point, so at least, yeah, he gets something out of it. So that's very valuable when the championship battle is as close as it is, but it's not really going to stack up against the potential points of 10 that Switzerland. Oh! Junqueira in the wall for Brazil.
On the exit of the Ericsson complex, and he slammed it into the wall. I suspect that was just being too aggressive on the curbs. He just caught the tail of that, so wave yellow flag. Safety car is, maybe see, oh look, it just rips the wing up, and oh, and well, just wipes out the right-hand side of the car. And just what a state the car is in.
6 laps to go, or 6 minutes, and its safety car is out.
So Clips, oh, that's why he just totally trashed the wing. We saw that happen in the first series of A1GP. That's the first time we've seen a driver do it. And the reason he did it was the way he attacked the curb. Other drivers have been using the curb aggressively. A safety car is deployed with 6 laps to go and 5 minutes and 40 seconds remaining.
I wonder if that replacement nose cone was set up slightly differently with the wing end plates or something, because it caught much more than we've seen anybody else do.
You have to raise those wing end plates up probably to the highest you can do to avoid that, but clearly when Junqueira tried to take the curb, that was he probably had done on previous occasions, it caught it and just tore it away, and he had no control of the car whatsoever. He was sitting there as a passenger. He could even feel the impact before he got there.
Well, that was real drama then for Bruno Junqueira. Of course, he was at the back anyway, having made that pit stop earlier for a nose cone change. What a shame. It was looking so good when they qualified on the front row. We thought that Brazil were heading for a podium finish here, perhaps even potentially their first win in 54 races, but it's not to be. He's out of the race, and that's very, very disappointing for the whole team. Can I also just tell you that on that last lap, South Africa got past Italy. So South Africa up to 14th place now, so that's good news. But bad news for Brazil. Let's hear some reaction from Emerson Fittipaldi.
Emerson, a great qualifying, very disappointing. Firstly, is Bruno okay? Yeah, Bruno's okay, but I'm very disappointed. You know, he had a good chance to do well. So it happened. See if we can get the car for the feature race.
Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you.
Well, here we go. Looking back at it again from that, yeah, the front wing was already off the car.
Oh, literally, the minute he put the wheel against the curb, that wing was just torn away from the car, and he lost all control of the car. You can see how much damage he did. Look at it again. He turns into the corner, the end of the wing end plate catches it, tears the whole thing off. The car virtually is just a missile aimed at the concrete barrier on the outside of the Ericsson complex, and I mean, nothing Junqueira at that point. He had he couldn't even slow the car down.
Well, this race is likely to be a timed race now, with just under 4 minutes to go, or 5 laps, but I think the 4 minutes is going to come before the 5 laps are completed. We'll see how long the safety car is out there. They've got to recover that stricken machine before, of course, they can then release the field.
Well, they've got just 3.5 minutes to go, plus 1 lap. So if they can get that part of the racetrack cleared, we may have a dash for the cash, as they say, which means that Canada's advantage, which had been up to 5.5 seconds, is now under a second. And of course, Switzerland right on the tail of Great Britain, so we could see a real grandstand finale should we get one last lap, and that would be timed plus 1 lap to see this race conclude.
Malaysia is the last car in the points at the moment, so Faris Fawzi's managed to get up to 10th, USA 11th, France still stuck in 12th. South Africa, as I say, though, has got ahead of Italy, but Pakistan is still ahead of them, so this was the move.
Yeah, good, clean move, and again, Italy saw what was happening. Eduardo Pescopo kept the car way out to the left-hand side of the track, and that's good, intelligent driving from a young driver who hasn't got the experience of someone like Adrian Zaug, coming down the inside, committed, and he saw the car, he gave the car room. There's no point in just swinging across the front of the car. That would have taken both these cars out.
Yeah, it came from a long way back, but Zaug, the only man who's managing to really overtake anybody at the moment, as he's moved up to 14th position now. Good hard drive this. That car's being recovered. They've got the recovery equipment there on scene very quickly.
We're going to have a grandstand finish, I think, to this race. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining, plus 1 lap.
Great stuff. This is what we want to see. A dash for the cash, if you like, towards the end of this race. Rob Wickens, who had a very comfortable lead, will now have to do it all over again, but he's looking supremely confident. And there's no doubt that Great Britain seem to be struggling there. Really, I think, going to be focused on defending that second place rather than going on the attack.
Well, I think very much the case. You've got the second place, 12 points, and you've got Switzerland breathing all over you. The pace of Rob Wickens, and he will be able to control in effect when this race gets underway with just under 2 minutes and 1 lap remaining. We're waiting for the safety car coming in. This lap is going to come into the pit lane now, so this race will be underway when the cars once again cross the start-finish line. Remember, they're not allowed to overtake until they've crossed the line, so that does give an advantage to Rob Wickens.
Here we go, race restart. Rob Wickens is controlling the pace. He slows it down again a little bit into this last corner. Away we go, and he's hard on the power through turn 15. Great Britain goes with him. Then it's Switzerland and China, followed by the Netherlands and Germany. Everybody a little spaced out as they head down towards the first turn. Little lock up from Canada, defending the inside. Germany trying to go around the outside, almost collected by Australia. And Portugal nips up the inside and gains one.
Much cleaner through turn 1, Vodacom corner, we have seen at the start of this race some 20 minutes ago. Everybody now files through, single file through turn 2.
Good effort that by Philippe Albuquerque. Saw the move by Australia, gained the advantage. Portugal now up into 7th place. Australia lost one, they're down to 8th place, but it kept it pretty clean there. That's impressive stuff from everybody.
Yeah, Rob Wickens really slowed it down as they came into turn 15, then got on the throttle, and he backed the field up, essentially trying to get in position.
France has got past that lot, and the USA has gone straight on.
Absolutely, so a big gain for France out of that, so we wait to see where France will feature when they come to the end of this lap with 1 lap to go.
I think he might still be 1 place outside the points, but he might not be, because these two are almost in each other. Oh, and Bleekemolen just kept out of the wall as Ammermuller for Germany is on the attack.
You've got to watch Michael Ammermuller when he's got the red mist, and he's got the red mist right now. We saw this in Malaysia, but before we've had the Christmas break, but the field bunched up behind the Netherlands coming through Suncoast Boulevard.
Through the long left-hander they come then, and still Vicky Ron Bleekemolen keeps Ammermuller behind, having a little look up in. Oh, they hit each other! Both out! Both out! And that puts more cars up in the top 10.
Did I talk about red mist from Germany? You saw it on screen live.
The Hammermuller has done it again. He's hammered into the Netherlands car, and And here comes the Malaysia car now trying to gain a position, but it's a red flag, John. The red flag has been called.
And the positions for this race will be judged on the previous lap, not where they finished this lap.
That could mean that both Germany and the Netherlands will be classified depending on the rule. It may be that as they're not running when the red flag came out, they may get dropped out of the order, and that would bring Portugal up to 5th. But what it means is that Canada have taken victory.
Absolutely fantastic, superb for Canada, and absolutely delighted here on the pit lane. Team GBR, they've got that second place, Switzerland in third.
Fantastic. Canada take their first ever sprint race win. They've won a feature race in the past thanks to Sean McIntosh, but they've never won a sprint race, and it's Rob Wickens after taking pole position who's managed to achieve it, and that is an absolutely brilliant effort. This was the moment though where Germany hit the Netherlands.
Well, we saw Michael Ammermuller have the red mist in Malaysia. He was trying everything he could. There was a lot of defence from the Netherlands, and the Netherlands were fully entitled to do that, but Michael Ammermuller just could not contain himself. Tags the back of the Netherlands car. Germany straight into the wall. Netherlands spins around but was unable to recover, and the red flag immediately is thrown, and this race is over.
Well, that means that Canada has won here in the sprint race, and Rob Wickens takes his own personal first ever win in A1GP. It's the nation's second ever victory, but their first in a sprint race, and how dominant was that performance. Brilliant stuff by him. But what about that accident at the end? Let's hear from Bleekemolen with Simon.
You're obviously very upset about that. What was your version?
Well, it's just incredible. This guy has been pushing off people every race. He's been punished already before, and last race in Australia, he just pushed me on the grass. This time, you know, we're racing street circuits, you brake on the absolute maximum, and then he just knocks you in the rear and you go off. And he hit me 3 times, and the last time was just too bad. You know, it was too hard, and then I went off. But I think, you know, we have to look at this, because this guy is just impossible to drive with. You can't race in a fairway with him. I mean, there are 20 drivers that can race in a fairway, and he can't, so we really have to look at it.
A little bit of discord there, obviously, between Netherlands and Germany, but no discord down in Parc Fermé as Rob Wickens gets the congratulations of his team. And this is the first win for Status GP, this team that has been brought together for this season for Team Canada, also put together the Irish team effort. And what a brilliant performance it is by the 18-year-old from Toronto. He's not even completed the whole season of A1GP, but here he is taking his first victory. Onto the top step of the podium he goes then. He's joined up there by Oliver Jarvis, a superb second place. Did look as though he had to fight Neil Yarni off for a while, but Switzerland with third position have now taken the lead in the points chase, and that is what is going to matter to Team Switzerland at this stage. The medals being handed out. Neil Yarni picking up 10 points there for that result, that third place, and of course he'll be on pole position for the feature race later on this afternoon, and it's given Switzerland a 6-point lead in the points. There's Oliver Jarvis, a very useful silver medal. He started 4th on the grid, managed to survive those first corner incidents, but the gold medal goes to Rob Wickens, a star of the future surely, on the basis of the performance not only today but what we've seen recently. A special moment for Rob Wickens, hearing the anthem for the first time in A1GP. The top 3 are on the podium. Let's now hear from them with Lee McKenzie.
Robbie Wickens, what's it like to get your first A1GP victory?
No, it's an honor considering where Canada's grown from the start of the season till now. I mean, it's unbelievable. I can't thank the team enough. They gave me a great car, and I was able to get a pretty good gap and just maintain it for them from there.
And second position was Team Great Britain and Oliver Jarvis. What a start you made. You went from 4th to 2nd, but there was contact with New Zealand. How damaged was your car out there?
Well, I knew there was contact. It was quite heavy contact. What he was up to, I'm not sure. I think he made contact first with Robbie Wickens, and you know, I thought I might have got the lead around the outside, to be honest, but then I had to back off, and there's certainly a lot of damage, and the car was a handful throughout the race.
Oliver, thank you very much. And in third position, but more importantly, taking the lead back of the A1GP Championship, Neil Yarni. Neil, what's it all about? Is it about wins, podiums, or the championship at the end of today?
Well, I started 5th, so I knew it will be already tight, and at the first corner it was tight, and I could take 3rd. Then I was quicker than Jarvis, but you know, I was making so many little mistakes, so I thought, well, I better keep my gap. see what he does, otherwise he gets too nervous. And so that China just doesn't catch me, and I just went for the points because I knew the other two are out of points. So get that championship lead back now.
The result of the sprint race: Canada take victory ahead of Great Britain, and Switzerland's third place. Neil Yarni now takes a 6-point lead for the team over New Zealand and France. Behind them, China, a superb 4th position, then the Netherlands and Germany after their incident, Australia in there as well, and then behind them Mexico and Malaysia still in the points. Behind the point sitters we had USA and France, then Pakistan and South Africa, Italy, Ireland and Indonesia, and then India in 18th place ahead of the Czech Republic and Lebanon, and of course New Zealand at the back, but they did get the compensation of 1 single point for fastest lap. Well, there we are, looking at the live scene now here at Durban as we prepare for the feature race. We've had some fun and games with the sprint race, as you saw earlier on today, but what a tremendous victory it was for Rob Wickens, and now we're going to see whether he's going to be able to do it again, because, John, he will be starting on the front row alongside Neil Yarni.
Well, I think I was impressed with in the sprint race was Rob Wickens. He stepped out of the car, he looked so cool and relaxed, and believe me, outside right now, that sun is roasting hot. It is as hot, I think,